Welcome back. This is going to be our last Strangetown teen, Ophelia Nigmos. She's also the only girl. I did have to fix the doors really quick before we got started. She's the only one that I did change her room a little bit, mostly just because it doesn't make sense. I get what they were going for, but she doesn't have a window, and she is the most safety conscious oriented sim ever. There's no way she would not have a window. So I changed that random door into a window, and I also I end up changing the floors and the wallpaper. This house has always bothered me. I get super old house in the desert made out of stone, but the inside would not also be stone. It would be insulated in some kind of way. It just bothers me on a logical level because that house would be scorching hot. I don't care if anybody's magic. Also, this was base game, so nobody was magic, so they would be dying of heat stroke. I don't think heat stroke came with base game. I don't care. They would be dying. So it bothers me, and yeah. I tried to find... haven't really been installing build mode items because this has been really a decorating spree, so I just put the same windows that they have on the front of the house and called it good. Yeah, she's a little bit special, mostly because, again, I've been trying to justify any changes that I make, so she's safety conscious to the extreme. She's a hypochondriac. There's no way she would not have windows, even if they're not windows that open. There's still an exit. But in terms of changing the floors and the wallpaper and stuff, A, I don't think Olive cares. B, Olive is fairly wealthy, so it's not really a problem for her to redecorate Ophelia's room. And when I say redecorate, I mean the floors and the wallpaper, because that's kind of an extreme thing to do. That's kind of expensive. Not always in The Sims, but in real life, and I try to think of it in that way. Which is why I wasn't doing it for the other rooms, unless it made sense and they shouldn't have been weird in the first place. But in her case, it made more sense to change it. Now, I was actually kind of surprised when I looked, because when I wrote down my pre-review of Ophelia, I was under the impression that she was scared of Olive. I don't know if that was just because I've read a lot of Sim stories or things like that, but I was always under the impression that her bio implied that she was scared of her aunt. But it really doesn't. Their memories don't really say anything about that. I can't remember what their relationship is, but her bio doesn't specifically say that she's scared of her at all. And there's no memories of her being scared of her, so it could really go a number of ways. I choose to think that while Olive is not specifically attached to Ophelia as a person, she doesn't dislike her either. She's just kind of okay, you're here, that's fine, whatever. Olive strikes me as the kind of person who's just really removed and aloof from her fellow sim kind in general, so she's not really bothered at all. Ophelia could probably do whatever she wanted, and Olive really wouldn't care all that much. So I had a lot of leeway with this room, just with that in mind. I also feel Olive forgets to take care of herself, so Ophelia has to be the caretaker of the house, just when it comes to cleaning and buying groceries and just making sure that they don't starve to death. Her room also had a lot of toys and things, so when I did my review, I noticed interesting wardrobe. She had the curtains and the doors and the windows. I initially thought she had archways, but thankfully she has actual doors. Which she has a really nice setup in general, but one thing that I did want to change was I wanted to give her a double bed, just because I loved that bed, and I picked it out specifically for her. I'm no, it's perfect coloring, it matches the walls, she deserves it. But yeah, she had toddler toys, she had the teddy bears and things. And then just going off her bio about the fact that she's a hypochondriac that worries about the past, present, and future. So I kind of wrote down, I wanted her to have a lot of medication, a whole stash basically of just anything you can think of. I wanted her to have all the paranormal, anti-ghost stuff. I just thought it would be kind of funny. But also, I wanted her to be kind of childlike, have a lot of toys, which ended up being having a lot of porcelain dolls, creepy dolls. I thought that would be great. The little toddler toy that she has is a xylophone, which kind of to me, I'm well, maybe she plays the keyboard. I mean, more than likely it probably was a leftover from Nervous Subject when he lived here, but I decided to play it as, well, maybe she plays the keyboard. Because we don't necessarily know how old she was exactly when she came to live with her aunt. I don't feel like it. I don't remember if it really tells us or not. I know it says she grew up, so I think she was a child. I'm trying to remember. I did look. I think she was a child. If memory serves me right. If my memories about the memories are correct, she was a child. But yeah, we don't know how far along she was. Like, had she just turned into a child age, or was she on the verge of becoming a teenager? Like, it's hard to tell with the memory system, because, yeah, they put them in the right order, but, you know, they don't really bother to put, like, friends and grades and stuff in between, so it's hard to judge just how old she was exactly. Just that she was a child. I struggled once again with the end table. I don't know why end tables are such a problem with me. Like, I just can't find any that I particularly like using right now. And I've downloaded a bunch, and I really like them. It's just like I'm not liking them for the rooms that I'm making. And it's annoying, because I like the ones I have. But I also gravitate towards like 3 of them, and I don't want to keep reusing those specific 3 end tables, so that's slightly annoying. Also, I gave her the space bedding, because her boyfriend is an alien, and I thought it was funny. That is my sense of humor in a nutshell. So some other things that I definitely wanted to include is I have this soap making set that I've wanted to use for... I've actually had it. That was one of the few things that I downloaded a couple years ago, even though I didn't have a modern set. Like, I downloaded it anyways because I kept telling myself that I'd recolor it and make it useful for a medieval game, and I never did. Like, I just really liked it, and I really wanted it. And so I had like a tiny hoarded collection of modern CC, and that was one of the pieces. And I've wanted to use it in one of these rooms. And if anyone made soap, if any of the base game teens made soap, it would be Ophelia. It would. She is exactly the kind of person who would make soap. So I set up a little area where she can make soap. It's the right kind of aesthetic. It would be pleasing to her, like in an ASMR way, but also in just like a health way. It would be perfect. I did struggle a lot with the layout of her room, because, I mean, she's got a big room, but because I put a double bed in there, it just kind of was throwing it off. I also really love that table and I want to use it, but it wasn't right for this room. But yeah, like, it was really throwing me off, because I knew I needed a lot of surface area, because I wanted the medicine collection, I wanted the doll collection, I wanted the soap making area, I wanted all the ghost stuff. I wanted some, like, paranormal stuff, maybe tarot cards, things like that. Like, I needed a lot of surface area for this room. I also thought about, like, carnivorous plants, which there's not enough carnivorous plant CC out there. I'm very disappointed. I almost reused this end table. It's the same one I used for Tank, but I was like, alright, I can't just use this same one, even though I love it. I like that too, but it's not an end table. But yeah, I almost did it again. Same color even. And I was like, alright, no, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, that was the main struggle with this room, is just finding surface area. But overall, I wouldn't say this is my favorite. It's hard for me to pick a favorite. I really like Tank's room, which his room is kind of boring, but like I just like the simplicity of it. But I really like what I did with Johnny's room. I like what I did with Rip's room. I love Buck's room. It's so cute. And I really like Ophelia's. Like, I feel like this room is her. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I think I'm nailing these pre-mades. Like, let me know what you think, but for me personally, for a 2022 take, like, this feels like them. Like, what their rooms could have ostensibly been. I thought about putting the goo puddle, but I'm like, no, she would not tolerate a goo puddle on her floor. They look great, but she would not tolerate that. I like a lot of, like, this bathroom clutter, but it's hard for these rooms, because, like, most of this would not be in your bedroom. It would be in your bathroom. So I was like, oh, I can't really put it. Because I thought about, well, maybe she'll make soap and bath bombs, but, yeah. I was good. All the kitchen clutter, too. Like, I have a lot of really cool kitchen clutter, and I'm like, I can't justify having this in someone's bedroom. Also the arcade games. I was able to use one. Like, Dustin did give us that gift, but no one else really has one in their room, so I can't justify it. I do get to give her the pink computer, though. That pleases me. Which is actually from the Strangerville. It's converted from Strangerville, so it's kind of funny. Because this is a strange town. I do wish the connection between Strangerville and Strangetown would be a little bit more clarified. I know it's like alternate universe, so like maybe Strangerville is what Strangetown would have become if Pleasant View didn't become, or yeah, Pleasant View didn't become Pleasant View kind of thing, but like they could still clarify. I know there's no continuity, but we still want the continuity anyways. She had a phone in her room as well, so I wanted to give her a cell phone. Like, I was trying, like, if they had music or things like that, I was trying to keep that. I think she actually did have an alarm clock as well, now that I'm thinking about it. That infection scanner, I absolutely had to have that in her room. She would have it, no questions. All the spirit stuff, I was like, yes, she must have all of this, because she lives in the house where she would require it. I love that lamp. I did download it for her, but I end up not using it. It was just a little bit too old-fashioned. Because originally I was going to go very Victorian with her room, but it just wasn't right. Her room actually ends up being a lot more modern and clean, which I prefer, but yeah, it just wasn't right. It wasn't right with what I wanted. And yes, I do have the ghost lamp as well. It's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. But she gets the lava lamp that I wanted to use. Also, don't get attached to this layout. This layout does not stay. Does not stay. I liked the solar system, but it wasn't. She wouldn't have a solar system lamp. I think I just give her that one above light thing that I've been giving everybody just because it's a general light. It works. I didn't want to take up too much floor space because, again, she doesn't have a lot. She does, but it's awkward floor space. It's not useful to me. I thought about having some, like, art clutter in her room that maybe she was holding on to for rips, similar to how I had Johnny holding on to like some records of rips, but it just didn't seem, it didn't fit. Not that I don't think that she, I think she absolutely would hold on to stuff for him, no question, but just, yeah. So the keyboard, I was going to do teal, but then I was like, yeah, maybe I'll do pink, and then I saw that purple, and I just kind of fell in love with it. I was pulling a lot of colors from the bedspread, which was not the original bedspread that I even intended to use. There was a different one, but I just liked it so much, and it amused me. Again, because she's dating Johnny, so I was like, yeah, we're just going to use it. This is about where I'm like, alright, we need to put the bed against the wall. There's just not enough space in this room. And I could have gotten rid of the door like I did with Johnny, and I should have probably done that, but I wanted to keep it because it feels like it makes sense that she would have her own private entrance to the bathroom in this type of house. In the Smith house, yeah, you could see why there would not be a private one because it's such a big house. There's 4 rooms up there, like, but this one, there should be. I did want her to have a bookshelf, not a big bookshelf, but a bookshelf. I love that little birdhouse bookshelf. Like, I want to use it so bad. I don't use it in her room, but I really, really wanted to. But it was just not the right shade of, like, greeny blue. It's just a little too blue. It was me, again, fighting with the frickin' layout. The layout of this room was just so hard. I rearranged it 4 or 5 times. You'll see after the cut, it's completely different. Which it is coming up soon. Also, I loved both these bookshelves, and I really wanted to keep both of them. Because I downloaded the black one originally to use in this room. But then that Henry Puffer looking one matched the bedspread, and I was like, ooh, I could use colors. I could use more colors from the bedspread, because I only had that little lamp, and so I was like, well, maybe I could use both somehow. But then the desk was too big, and then you can see me just kind of like, well, maybe I can do this here, but I need to keep this because I need this surface area. It's like, oh, does it look weird if I squish these? But yeah, I ended up getting rid of the one that I originally downloaded for this room, which made me sad. But I had to. Something had to give. I probably could have gotten rid of a little bit of her hallway even and just like spread it out, but eh. I downloaded that seance table for her too, but it just... no. I also don't think that she in particular would actually invite the ghosties in. The more that I thought about it, I'm like, she probably doesn't like them very much. She probably knows how to deal with them, but that's just like a self-defense mechanism. She does actually get a dresser. I was very happy to finally give somebody a dresser. But this dresser has a weird footprint, and it was making me very mad. It was annoying me, because I know dressers in general in The Sims 2 have a bad footprint, but like, everything kept just like clinging to it in weird spots. Like, it looks like it only has 2 tile, but I know it's a wardrobe, it's got 4. But it just kept like, something wouldn't even really be near it, and it would still be stuck on it, but not stuck on it. And it was just driving me bonkers. I was thinking about doing maybe the smaller one and like the lighter purple, but eh. And then I wanted toys, of course, so. Okay, you can see I put some stickers on the wall, and I finally settled on a layout. She does have a snake. She strikes me as the kind of person who would have a snake. I wanted a pet, okay? I really wanted a pet. And yeah, we could use these little occult floor markings from their conversions from Sims 4, which I was really happy about. I wanted to use a bunch of them. I know they're supposed to signify that there's like a ghost there, but in my view they actually help prevent ghosts. Like if a ghost walks over it, it gets captured, so I just put a bunch in there. Yeah, I had a lot that potentially could have gone into this room. Like, the struggle was real, so I had to... You can see there's like a pile in the front of things that these are the things that I absolutely want to be in her room, and then I was like, okay, then we can go after the other things. But the soap making kit, that was not optional. And yes, I used the little yoga ball at her desk. I know some people that use that as like their desk chair. It's supposed to help your posture, and if anybody would try to follow that, again, it would be Ophelia. Plus it matched the colors of the room, so I was really happy about it. I was checking kind of the colors. I don't know if this, like, if you were making soap, if this would be the ideal setup. I have no idea. This is just the setup that I went with. I didn't even look up, like, for inspiration. Like, at this point, this is what the layout had to be, and this is what it was going to be. I just love this kit so much. I don't even remember off the top of my head who made it, but whoever you are amazing, and I love you. This literally sat on my computer for years, not being used, with me pretending that I was going to make it medieval, but I wasn't going to because I loved how pretty and colorful the soaps were, and I was like, I don't want to make them boring. And I felt like if I was going to put it in my medieval game, they would have to be boring soaps, and I didn't want to do that. So yeah, she has her little soap making thing. I don't really know if she does it for a business or if she just enjoys it. That little cow plant has a weird footprint too. I end up putting it on the wardrobe because I'm like, alright, the weird footprint things are just going to live together. Because look at it, it keeps like wanting things to go on top of it, and it wouldn't go in an OMSP, so I just put it in the corner. But yeah, I wanted her to have carnivorous plants, so she ended up with the cow plant, and she ended up with the little Venus flytrap. And that little skull planter. I was really mad about that terranium. I thought I was going to have to delete it, but it also went on the wardrobe, so I was like, yes, I can have the cow plant stuff. The next thing I wanted was the tarot cards, because past, present, and future was a worry of hers. This is where I realized the bed was like super duper low, so the normal OMSP that I use was not going to be it. Also, this recolor, I don't know why, it's just very Lisa Frank to me, and I love that. It's kind of her whole room is like spooky Lisa Frank. So yeah, you can see I've kind of got her room split into different categories. Not her room, like the potential things going into her room. I changed out the little cabinet that was going to go here, but I wanted to make sure she had her phone. She, you know, strikes me as the kind of person who really likes music, because she had a lot of posters. So I wanted to have a little iPod, which I think I've used that color already, but they're iPods, it's fine. Also, this was the 90s, so it was fine. It was fine to have the iPods. I didn't give her as many plants as I expected to, just because I wanted them all to be kind of carnivorous, and I just didn't have enough. This is all the hospital kind of clutter that I had. I know that there's plenty more out there. I wanted to put it on a cart, but I just didn't have one. But yeah, I figured this is the kind of stuff she would have. She's not going to have, like, all of the nonsense. I mean, she probably could, because her aunt is loaded, but I didn't want to give her access to quite everything. Like, this is sufficient. I also got rid of the ones that were open, because I don't feel like she would have open pill bottles. But yeah, she's got everything. I was just kind of judging, like, okay, should she really have this? Do I really need 3 of these? I almost got rid of the little hot water bottle one, but I was like, alright, I'll keep that too. I'm really happy with her little medicine collection. It's so ridiculous, but I appreciate it greatly. Yeah, I got rid of the syringes. It just didn't, I don't think she would be happy to give anyone a shot of anything. I feel like she'd be a bit too squeamish for that. Yeah, I wanted her to have a mask. I feel like she would be very, very into the mask even before it was a thing. She also has a mask collection, because I was like, I just started getting into my head. I'm like, what if she just collected masks? Like, what if she got really into it? And then it just became a thing. Yeah, I wanted to utilize these shelves on this desk. This is in particular why I ended up picking it. Which this dorm set is super handy. I'm definitely going to use it a lot more. I'm really happy with how her room turned out. This was one of the rooms that I kind of had planned out in my head, and it did turn out very much how I envisioned the overall vibe. Definitely not the colors I was thinking of. I was thinking more Hot Topic circa 2001, like reds and blacks and very, you know, goth, but GOFF kind of goth, like a bit much. But I'm glad that I went with the kind of pastel-y goth instead. Like, I just like it. I'm very pleased by it. I also wanted to find, like, air purifiers and things, but that doesn't really exist, sadly. I know this is more bathroomy clutter, but I feel like she would still have, like, the cotton balls and things, because that's part of, not nursing, but, like, if you hurt yourself, chances are you're going to need something along those lines. I wanted to include a lot of the model houses in addition to the dolls, but I already knew, I was like, there's just no way I can fit model houses and porcelain dolls and paranormal stuff. Like, all of it was just, it was not going to happen. Maybe if she had a bigger space, then maybe, but I think this definitely fits her kind of hypochondriac moment. I love the stickers too, like, I just put them everywhere, kind of. 'Cause I feel like she goes to a lot of concerts, and so maybe she buys stickers at concerts kind of thing. There probably should be a bit more order to this, but yeah. That little thermometer brings me joy, by the way. Sparks joy. Yeah, all of the ghost things. Like, I didn't want to take out any of the ghost things. Like, I was very, very pro ghost items. But alright, now we're going to see her whole room, so. This is the final result. Sorry about the cardboard box on the desk. I was using it because there was a slot there that was driving me nuts. But you can see all of the ghosty items. Her desk is just covered with stuff. I actually gave her some D&D stuff. I think that she would be interested in playing that. She probably would play it with Angela. Probably try to get Lilith into it as well. But let me know what you think of the final result. I'm really, really happy with her room overall. And I will see you in the next one.